Oh my God, my Shayla.
I have gathered you all here today to talk about important business. With the craziness that is happening currently, it had me reminiscing of a simpler time. A time before $80 games, microtransactions, and half-baked games. I did some digging in the old noggin and I have discovered some gems from my childhood that I used to play. I have found some pretty obscure ones that I'm sure me and two other people probably remember from back in the day. Or if you were alive back then, I forget that some of y'all were born after 2010. I feel myself getting older just thinking about that. Like, what do you mean you were born after 2010? That feels illegal.
Stealing, right to jail. You're playing music too loud, right to jail, right away.
Anyway, when I mean obscure, I'm not talking about some random spin-off game from a popular franchise like when Sonic was a werewolf or the Dance Dance Revolution Mario game. Oh, the horror. No, I'd really try to dig deep here. And if you recognize them, my man. But let's get right into it. First, you must know that the Xbox 360 free game section was my haven as a kid. I would find the most random ass games from that free game section of the 360 store. Lots of really bad games, but we had some gems, and one example of these gems would be Happy Wars. Now, while y'all were crashing out playing League of Legends, this game was my League of Legends. I would play this game religiously when I was younger. Actually, now that I think about it, it probably was technically one of the first online multiplayer games that I played when I was younger. Well, there was also Roblox, but I won't talk about that whole hole today. So Happy Wars was a PvP multiplayer game where the game mechanics were similar to League. Actually, no. I would say this game was more similar to Smite, since League is from a top-down view, while in this game the camera is on the ground with your character. The main goal of this game was to destroy your enemy's castle, which was like the enemy's nexus in a sense. There were 3 classes you could play as, which were Warrior, Cleric, and Magic. Since I was a child, was always attracted to Blade. I always chose the Warrior type. You could even choose the type of warrior you wanted to be, which for me, my favorite was the Berserker. Had me looking like Zoro going straight into battle. There were also the other classes, Cleric and Magic, and
This is all I got. This is all I got.
well, sorry y'all, I wasn't that interested in those classes, so I never got to playing them. Moving on though, there were up to 15 players on each team, making for pretty chaotic battles, which I loved about this game. It was so fun at the beginning of battles, leaving your own castle with 14 other people and charging towards the enemy castle, swinging and attacking like 8 guys at once, or if you're unlucky, having 8 guys attacking you at once. There was also this mechanic I thought was cool in the game. Unlike League or Smite, you had to build your towers before you started to protect them. Now, was this a good change to the mobile formula? I don't know. To be honest, like the con to this would be that building a tower would take you more time than just running past it and defending it later, but the pro is that destroying an enemy tower would take them longer to put it back up since they have to build it too, which is good. So it's meh. I didn't really mind it. I wasn't thinking about all that when I was a kid though. Anyway, I just thought having to build something while fighting was pretty fun. Being in some insane battle in 1 minute and then being bothered to build it the next, it added a cool flow to the game. There were also these team attacks you could do if your guys were coordinated together, which I thought were pretty cool to look at. I never played Mage, so I didn't know how to do that. I also love the little dialogue options the game would give you to communicate to your teammates, which I think it was a good thing that it didn't have voice chat, or else this game would have been a Modern Warfare 2 lobby.
Pussy. That's right. Yum, 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 I eat dick all day. Yum, 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 I eat dick.
Instead, we had fun phrases like, I let you win, you know, or no hard feelings, okay? Don't be crybabies.
Man, you corny.
Definitely the kind of shit talk I would have preferred that at that age instead of hearing a grown man calling me every slur known to mankind. This was a free-to-play game back then, and it was such a gem when I came to discover it. Unfortunately, Happy Wars did shut down in 2018, but it did come out in 2012, so it had a good 6-year run, which is not bad. It was a fun introduction to mobiles for me, and it would soon lead me to playing League in the future, unfortunately. Another gem in my past had me living my greatest fantasy right in front of my TV. This banger also comes from the Xbox 360 era. Now the Kinect I think was underrated. The Kinect was kind of like Microsoft's response to the Wii when it came out, and although I feel the games on the Kinect did not compare to the Wii, like Wii Sports and Wii Resort were on another level of fun. And they came free with the console. That's right, free Nintendo. Nintendo has gotten much greedier in this day and age. Thanks to this rivalry, this birthed one of the best games on the Xbox 360 Kinect, and that game is Star Wars Kinect. Now I will admit, my nostalgia can only take me so far now, but the Kinect was kind of jank at times. The sensor was kind of bad, and sometimes it would have trouble sensing you, especially if you're doing a movement like jumping that would just break the Kinect, and it was a nightmare to play the Kinect if you had more than 2 people wanting to play. Before this game, I really liked using the Kinect. That and with Just Dance, which had me dancing so hard just to win that I forgot that you can also dance for fun. This game, however, took the Star Wars universe and made it interactive. You had to do physical things like swing the lightsaber with your arm, jump, and use the Force. My favorite part of the game was being able to use the Force with my hand using the Kinect. I misspoke. I still am a huge Star Wars nerd, and using the Force like that in the game was so fun to me. I would pretend that I was using the Force whenever I was walking towards the automatic doors, so for me to be able to use the Force in this game was a dream to me. Also, being able to swing my lightsaber in real time and hitting the droids was also fun to me. But I do have to admit, it was a bit awkward not being able to move forward. Like, you'll be having a ball swinging the sword and chopping everyone up, but then you just have to stand there.
He's just standing there, menacingly.
You know, this is probably why one of the reasons the Kinect didn't really catch on with a lot of people. Because obviously with the Kinect, something like walking in place probably wouldn't work since the Kinect sensor was so janky, and also it probably wouldn't have a clue in which direction you wanted to go from that. So I guess this was the best solution they could come up with in this game. It just felt kind of awkward though. It takes away that smoothness you would have with a controller being able to walk forward and finding more enemies to hit. The game did allow you to dash forward though, which I guess helps a bit. Now the base game of Star Wars Kinect was fun, but you're probably like, seriously? This is your best game of Kinect? And shh, I'm not done yet. Hold on. They added an amazing side game mode that easily turns this game from a 5 out of 10 to an 11 out of 10. I'm talking about the Galactic Dance-Off mode. So the Galactic Dance-Off mode was just dance, but with the Star Wars skin, but man was it fun. You could have any Star Wars character busting it down to some of the biggest hits of the time, just with modified lyrics to fit the Star Wars universe. You could bust it down as Princess Leia, Lando, Han Solo, and even baddies. Wrong word. Sorry. Villains like Palpatine and Darth Vader. Honestly, they didn't even need to release the story mode as part of this game. They could have just released this game mode on its own, and they probably would have sold double what they sold for the original game. Now, let me tell you some of the classic songs you could have danced to on this game mode. You got classics like Riding Solo, We Don't Speak Huttese, and even Just the Way You Are. I know, it's absolutely crazy that the Kinect is considered a failure by Xbox. Without the Kinect, absolute national treasures such as this game couldn't have existed. Looking back on this game though, it feels like a fever dream that this game was even made. I don't know what they were smoking when they decided to put that in the game. Now everyone, I say the best for last. This was one of my all-time favorite game demos. Yeah, you heard me correctly, demo. I didn't ever buy the full game. Yeah, I know, kind of strange for me to put this game in the video, if even I didn't play the whole game, but let's not get into technicalities here. I'm talking about games that I remember from my past, not a thorough review of each game I ever played. I'm not a game journalist here. Anyway, the game that I played a bajillion times was the game Trials. I remember the first time I saw this game on Xbox 360 store and I downloaded the demo immediately. The demo had like a few levels that you could play all the way through, which was enough for me at the time. So Trials was a game where you just had to go through the entire level without falling off or crashing on your bike. It was a simple concept where you try to do that, but where's the fun in that? It might have just been my kid brain, but I thought the ragdoll physics for this game were hilarious. It was so fun crashing into random stuff and seeing my character fly off his bike. Also, after you finish the level would end with you crashing your bike anyway. Whether that be crashing your bike into some wood or even as extreme as falling into a pit of fire at the end of the level, I feel like the devs knew that they were doing what they were doing with this game. They definitely played into the fun of the ragdoll physics of the character, and they wanted the game to be funny, even when you were failing to complete the level. This game also had some pretty cool level design. Many of the levels had you jumping off ramps and driving through fire or explosions, which was awesome for me at the time. There were also these different types of bikes you could have, and the more bikes you unlock, the faster you're able to go. I only got the second bike, the reptile bike, but after that, you'd have to buy the game to use the rest of the bikes. Damn, I should have bought that game. To be honest, I was only playing that game to watch my character fly off his bike into some insane way and laugh at the ragdoll physics, or him inevitably being stuck to an object and start glitching out. Kinda like the reason I got into Guild Simulator later in life, but I guess that was more you terrorizing people instead. So I guess that's enough reminiscing for today. I probably have more that I played when I was younger, but they are lost to me at the moment. Maybe they'll come back, only time will tell. Do you have any childhood games you forgot about that you enjoyed? Tell me who you do, I'm mad curious. Also, if you made it this far, thanks for watching the video. Please like and subscribe if you would like more stuff. Until next time though, goodbye.